Steph, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my first wide receiver of my fantasy MVPs. And this one shouldn't be a surprise either. It's Amari Cooper of the Dallas Cowboys. Another one of these guys I feel like I've been on board with for a couple years now since we started this thing back before the 2020 season. Another player who had his season ended a little bit early in a different way. You know, he was still out there on the field producing, but his upside was ended when Dak Prescott went down. And because of that, he's being drafted as the wide receiver 17 right now per Fantasy Pros ADP. That is the middle of round 4. And that's my big question. If you're watching, if you're a part of these drafts, if you're a part of this, if you're causing Amari Cooper to go as the wide receiver 17, what are we doing? Like, outsmart your league mates, outsmart the people you're playing with, and take Amari Cooper. If he's your wide receiver 2, you are absolutely set up for success. And I'm fine with him as my wide receiver 1 because we look at that 2020 season I mentioned with Dak Prescott missing most of the year, 75% of the year, with Andy Dalton starting the majority of the games, and Ben DiNucci was in there, Garrett Gilbert was in there. Amari Cooper was the wide receiver 15 last year, yet he's being drafted as the wide receiver 17 for this year. That makes absolutely no sense to me. In the 4 games that we did see Amari Cooper with Dak Prescott, it's only a 4-game sample size in 2020, but he was the wide receiver 1 overall, the wide receiver 1 in fantasy. So I know it's a small sample size, but the value right now and the upside for Amari Cooper is just tremendous. And if we really want to look back to a bigger sample size, we can look back to 2019 with Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper finished the year as the wide receiver 10. So he still produced. Even though people are kind of dragging him through the mud a little bit, you're getting that discount because of what people remember about the Dallas Cowboys. And last year, his targets were far less valuable than they're going to be in 2021 because of that quarterback situation. His yards per target dropped from 10 in 2019 down to 8.6 in 2020. So every time he was getting thrown the ball, it was just less valuable from a yardage perspective. And his receiving touchdowns went from 8 in 2019 down to 5 in 2020, which tied a career low. So heading back into the season, his target volume should stay the same. I know people are excited about CeeDee Lamb, but Lamb saw 111 targets last season. I expect that to go up a little bit, but there should still be plenty of volume to go around in Dallas. Cooper saw 130 targets in 2020. That should be his baseline again, and each one of those targets is going to be more valuable because Dak's going to be able to be more accurate. He's going to be able to push it down the field, and there should be more touchdowns coming as well. We look at why the volume is going to be high, and it's because the Cowboys' defense is terrible. You know, it's going to be a little bit better this season. They were able to pick up Micah Parsons in the draft, among some other things, but it's still a bottom half unit. So they're going to need to win these games by putting points on the board. Easiest way to do that is let Dak Prescott throw to his great wide receiver trio led by Amari Cooper. You know, and if we just want some icing on the cake, you look at the schedule. It's set up for shootouts.
I was about to go there.
Yeah,
NFC
they get the
East.
Eagles. They get the Eagles and the Giants twice, and they also play the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bucks, the Falcons, the Cardinals. So there are plenty of matchups to like this season where this Cowboys offense and passing game could absolutely explode. So at his current value in the middle of the 4th round, Amari Cooper is an absolute steal. I expect him to finish as a top 12 wide receiver this season. And the reason he really is a fantasy MVP for me is because I truly believe that he could finish as the overall wide receiver 1 in 2021.
And it's so funny because I remember our fantasy MVPs last year. You had CeeDee Lamb as one of those guys, and I know you had him on almost all your drafts, and it paid off in a big way. The irony now, switching over to the wide receiver 1 for Dallas. The new hotness in CeeDee Lamb, I think the pendulum swung too far, and I'm seeing Lamb go over Cooper in a lot of spots, but he has not taken over that wide receiver 1 role quite yet. It's not to say we can't see it, but as of right now, based on everything we know, Cooper should be that dude.